Governor Jay Nixon issued an executive order today which will keep employers from asking for criminal history until later in the hiring process. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. This means a concept known as ban the box is now statewide. KOMU 8's Alex Dosteler is here to tell us about the executive order and what it means for hiring new workers.
Executive Order 1604 says it will lower the chances a felon commits another crime and improve public safety. I spoke with an executive at a job agency and a previously convicted felon who told me their thoughts.
Thank you for calling Job Finders. This is Julie. How may I help you?
Ban the box laws are already in place for some Missouri cities, most notably Columbia and Kansas City. Both cities passed similar policies in 2014. Guy Hewlin is the vice president of Job Finders Employment Services, which helps people find employment in Columbia, Jefferson City, and Mexico. Hewlin says he was surprised by the announcement.
Because here in Columbia, we're one of the only cities in the state to pass ban the box, and we really were not aware that this was on the agenda to be passed. However, we do understand that the hope is that those that have been incarcerated will have additional opportunities for employment.
But he's optimistic it would help potential employees like Jeremy Smith, who was recently laid off from carpentry work and is a previously convicted felon.
I think not having them know that kind of information right out in the beginning is probably beneficial to someone like me that is trying to do the right thing and find full-time work.
Smith understands why some people might be hesitant to hire him, but he says he is making efforts to turn his life around.
Specifically in my kind of case, I think it's a good thing, but I can also see how it would be non-beneficial to employers. So,
while Hewlin says the order will be a positive thing for Missourians, there are still some unanswered questions.
The state is going to have to comply with this, or whether or not this is going to stay at the state level only, like a direct hire through the state of Missouri. But I imagine this will be applied across the subcontractors, which is what Job Finders would be doing for the state of Missouri.
In Columbia, a similar ordinance applies to all employers within city limits, and enforcement is handled by the Human Rights Commission. However, for the entire state, this remains to be seen. No one KOMU 8 spoke to was against the order.
The Columbia City Council passed Ban the Box in 2014. Council members approved it unanimously after almost a year of public discussion. In 2015, Missouri lawmakers heard two bills that would have affected Ban the Box across Missouri. One of those bills would have enacted Ban the Box statewide. The other would have banned cities from enacting it, or unless they had already done so. Neither bill became law last year.
In Missouri, women are paid 71 cents to the dollar that men earn, according to the Women's Foundation. Today, the MU Institute of Public Policy released a report with the foundation. The report describes how businesses can narrow the wage gap. KOMU 8's Laura Barcheski is in the newsroom with the particulars.
The organizations released the Equity Best Practices Guidelines report just ahead of Equal Pay Day to fulfill part of Governor Nixon's executive order that says the state of Missouri is committed to ensuring that all Missourians are treated on equal terms. The report says all women working in America earn less money than men. There are 3 sections of what are called best practices the report recommends employers use. The first is determining whether gender-based wage disparities exist in their organization by self-auditing. The second is to evaluate whether their current compensation system is equitable by deciding a dollar value for every position. The third is to ensure transparency concerning organizational compensation policies by making salary ranges for all job titles public.
Often people just look at my hourly wage versus a man's hourly wage, for example, but a lot of the pay disparities come during, for example, bonus times when a man might get a much higher bonus than a woman, or might have an opportunity to be promoted when a woman isn't promoted.
Right now you can head over to our website to see the full report and a more in-depth explanation.
The Citizens Group wants to recall Columbia City Council member Laura Nalzer. Columbians for a Responsible Government turned in 416 signatures. The petition comes after Nalzer reintroduced a transmission line project to the council earlier this year. The council voted for a route known as Option A in 2013 and has since committed more than $7 million to the project. Nowser says she reintroduced the project after hearing concerns with the first plan. The council held a special hearing in January and voted not to proceed with Option A.
3 years ago, City Council went through a years-long process to determine what the best option is for the transmission route. They chose Option A in 2013, and then 3 years later, we're having this conversation again about where these power lines should be.
The idea is that I've changed my mind, and somehow I'm the one to blame for Option A. And really, all I did was facilitate an opportunity for people to be heard again, and the council unanimously granted their request, and I maintained my vote.
Once the clerk verifies the signatures on the petition, the option to recall Nowser could be on the August ballot.
Missouri farmers have until April 15th to vote on a new beef checkoff fee. The fee would add an extra $1 to what farmers already pay per cow they sell. The money would go toward promotion, marketing, and research. One cattle farmer says the fee is necessary because it would help pay for consumer education.
Our goal is to be able to share the truth and the facts about beef and then let the consumer decide. We want to be able to keep it front and center in the supermarket where they do have a good choice of quality product.
Martin expects beef prices to either stay the same or drop even over the next few years.
Here's what's happening right now. It's a late night for Missouri lawmakers. The House Elementary and Secondary Education Committee is discussing a slew of bills, including one that would allow homeschooled students to join high school activities in the district where they live. The bill says the student must follow the same policies as those enrolled in the public school. The student's teacher must also submit grades.
Lawmakers say they still have unanswered questions months after protests on MU's campus. University of Missouri leaders met with House representatives at the Capitol to talk about the system's progress and where they plan to go from here. Representatives on the Special Committee on Urban Issues asked 5 leaders to come to the meeting, but only 2 of those and a board member showed up. Noticeably missing was MU Interim Chancellor Hank Foley. Representatives held the meeting to discuss the current climate at the university and throughout the system. Lawmakers say the meeting comes after months of waiting for answers.
A lot of this information was requested in November. How it takes that long to gather information, I don't know. Do I need to become a Republican to get you all to be responsive to me? That was a serious question.
I don't think you need to do that. I think that we are doing our best to be responsive to you.
Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10, we'll tell you what some leaders say they're doing to alleviate diversity and inclusion issues for the system and MU specifically.
The 2017 Show Me Bowl is coming to Columbia. High school activities decided to hold the football championships in Columbia at its annual meeting last Friday. The games will be played at Faurot Field. The City of Columbia partnered with the MU Athletic Department to put together the proposal. The Show Me Bowl will be Thanksgiving weekend 2017.
Typically here in Columbia, it's really quiet, pretty slow. So this is going to mean a great influx of visitors, which means a lot of revenue for the city. So it's definitely a great opportunity.
The high school basketball championships have been played in Columbia the past several years, but will move to Springfield in 2 years.
We had a little rain earlier today, but it actually turned out to be a pretty nice day. Let's check in with Kenton to see what we can expect tonight. Later in the newscast, what MoDOT says after a driver hit and killed an employee in a work zone last week.
And what the state is doing to help victims of crime.